everybody. How are you? I am good. It is Thursday. Hi.
What up, gangsters? Today is Thursday, January 7th, and this is In Case You Missed Psychology. And if this was an episode of Sesame Street, per my little video on my slide, this episode will be brought to you by the words yeet and skirt. Now, if you're watching this, that means that you missed class today, and that's okay. I hope you're well. Hope everyone around you is well. Hope you're finding some normal in this interesting time in which we live. I'm going to run you through everything that we talked about today and make sure that you are on board and understanding some upcoming deadlines. And to be really honest with you guys, the first thing that we talked about in class today was kind of what happened yesterday in the news. Tried to give a pretty neutral understanding of some terminology from yesterday, run through the events, talk about some of the things that I saw in looking through various news outlets. Educate yourself. Make sure you're looking at things, look at different perspectives, see what people are saying. And if there's anything that you want to talk about it, you don't really feel like you have anybody to talk about, you can always talk to me. I'm not going to tell you how I feel. I'm not going to tell you how you should feel. But I will help clarify the facts, at least what I know. I don't claim to know everything. Now, let's get rid of this annoying dismiss here. So, like I said, today's January 7th. Tomorrow's Friday. Oh, can't get here soon enough. And this little video clip, I love this. I just happened to be watching SNL when this was on, the Rap Roundtable with Pete Davidson, and I think it's Timothy Chalamet. I don't really know much of his work. I know a lot of people are very interested. I put him on the screen. So the reminders first today, get that late work in. Make sure you're looking through Infinite Campus and figuring out what you owe and get it in. I sent some of you guys emails trying to get you guys to get a little bit of stuff done for me. We all want to end the semester in a good place, and that is coming around sooner than later, my friends. Okay, second thing, to get rid of some confusion, the sleeping and dreaming assignment is due tomorrow by midnight. It was a crash course video with like 7 or 8 questions that went along with it about sleep cycles and dream theory and stuff like that. Simple, usual, like almost like a reading guide type thing that went along with the video. The dream project, the big thing that we've been working on since the beginning of December, that is not due till next Wednesday. And next Wednesday is January 13th. So small assignment due tomorrow by midnight, large project due next Wednesday. Again, if on either one of those you have any questions, please make sure and let me know. I'm more than happy to help. All you can do is chat me, email me, text me, give me a call, whatever. I'm here to help. Today what we're going to do is we're going to cover one slide. Like I said, we spent some time talking about the news events of yesterday. And so we're going to cover one slide. It's kind of an intro to the sleeping and dreaming stuff that we are going to talk about over the course of like the next week. And so there you go. One quick favor. I asked you guys the other day, if you have any sleep difficulties, please make sure and reach out and let me know. You don't have to tell me, I'm not going to use your name. But the other thing is, if there's anything sleep or dream related that you want to know or you're really interested in, please send that along to me somehow so I can make sure that I work it in and get a chance to talk about it. So here we go. All right. So little Jiminy Cricket getting into his Matchbox bed, transitioning from a busy day of being someone's conscious, social conscious to, going a little, catching a little shut eye. So Pinocchio, by the way, if you didn't remember. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do one slide today, which is an intro into sleeping and dreaming. And one of the things that can be difficult for some people to understand is this first statement where I say sleeping and dreaming are very complicated issues because you're not alert of what's going on, so you don't necessarily know all the things that are happening. Plus, at the same time, if you're anything like me, and I feel pretty lucky for this, I have never really had difficulty going to sleep. I'm one of those people that I set my alarm clock, I set it on my little table, my head hits the pillow, and man, if I make it 5 minutes before I'm asleep, I'm really surprised. Sleep my 7-8 hours or however long it is I'm sleeping these days. I've actually progressed a little, or I'm getting more sleep, and I wake up, man. My alarm, sometimes I wake up right before my alarm, but I don't toss and turn. I'll be honest, I snore a little. It's okay. Everybody's got their thing, but it's simple. But realistically, it's not. some of you guys have insomnia, some of you guys have restless leg syndrome, some of you guys are telling me about sleep paralysis, and those are all really complicated issues. But even just a normal night's sleep, if you got a good solid 8 hours, there's a lot that happens in that 8 hours from a brain standpoint, from a body standpoint, the dreams that you might have that we need to talk about. And we're not going to get to every little thing because there's just so much. There's an entire branch of psychology. There's nothing but sleep and dream psychology. So we're not going to do this justice, but we're going to do a pretty good job. All right. So when we look at sleep, probably the most uncomplicated part of sleep is that first hour of sleep. And the reason for that is simple. In that first hour of sleep, and I'm not talking like I go to bed, I lay there, I find the perfect arm position and pillow position, and I'm like this, and life is good. I'm actually talking about from the second that science would consider you to be asleep. Okay, from that point, the next 60 minutes are relatively predictable. Now, we're all a little bit different, so give or take, you might hit stage 2 a minute before me, 30 seconds before me, 15 seconds after me. You might have just a little bit more deep sleep than I get in that first hour. We're all a little bit different from those standpoints. But for the most part, in that first hour, we hit all the stages of sleep. We go through the various brain waves. We get our deepest sleep of the night in that first hour. That sleep that's good and restful, that's healing, that allows your body to grow and chemicals to recharge and things like that. But that first hour is pretty simplistic. Now, as we look at things moving forward, you need to make sure that, focusing on that first hour and look how that works. Now, sometimes when I say this, people assume then that must mean that first hour sleep is the best. And that's kind of an arbitrary term. I don't know if we can say that, but they also sometimes look at that and go, so an hour would be the best amount of time for a nap. Now, I've actually read some different scientific studies that claim it's either 20 minutes or 2 hours. Now, again, that's a little tricky because that's 20 minutes from when you fall asleep to when you wake up, not from when you lay down to when you wake up. Now, the reason they say 20 minutes is it gets you a little bit of rest, but it doesn't get you into deep sleep, so you don't wake up groggy and out of it. And the reason they say 2 hours is because you go through one down cycle and you're up back to the start. And so you've had like a full revolution in the cycle of sleep. Everybody's a little bit different, though, again. So, it's hard to say. You can get one of those, I don't know if an Apple Watch does it, but I know there's a lot of Fitbits and Whoop bands and things that monitor your sleep, that show you what your brainwaves look like and things, where you could probably, if you had one of those things, figure out like what's ideal for me. Sleep is also complicated because so much goes on physically. While we sleep, there's a lot of things that happen in the body. The heart rate changes, your breathing changes, perspiration, body temperature, all those different things. And it's interesting because obviously when you're asleep, when you're in your deepest sleep, your body systems are working at their slowest. And so you'll breathe the least. Now, obviously, you guys are younger, you're more physically fit, so you're probably breathing a little bit less than some old turd like me does. But your blood pressure will drop and your pulse level drops, and depending on what's going on, you may sweat, you may not. One of the interesting things I found, though, is when you're dreaming, when you're in REM sleep and you're dreaming, your brain doesn't know much of a difference between you doing something in your waking life and you doing something in your dreaming life. And so if I don't know, let's say you had a dream that you were running the pacer in gym class, the fitness gram pacer. God, I used to know the whole direction thing. It was funny. If you were in the pacer in your dream, your heart rate and your breathing are probably going to be pretty similar to if Mr. Dennison actually had you running the pacer in the gym right then. So your brain very much causes your body to mimic the biorhythms that are going on when that happens. So I've always thought that was kind of interesting. Last big point is before we actually fall asleep, we enter into something called a twilight state. Now, I'm talking twilight like sunset. I'm not talking crappy, sparkly vampires and shirtless werewolves. Yay, Taylor Lautner. Anyway, not happening. Instead, what I'm talking about is this transition from being awake to being asleep, the time when things kind of start to get, you're in that little gray area. You're in the fog, okay? After the last couple of days, I feel like I'm always in the fog. You're still easy to wake up. You're still alert. If someone said your name from another room, you would get up and go, what? If your phone buzzed, most of you guys would check it, okay? But that twilight state is where you drift off to the next area. I used to refer to this as The English class nods, because when I was in high school, I fell asleep in my English class all the time. And so what would happen is it would look a lot like this. You guys know this, where you're sitting there and you're trying and your eyes are getting heavy and your head is getting heavy. And you do that. You're going into a twilight state. Now, I had someone ask me today, and I thought this was a really good question. When I daydream, I'm like just staring off into space thinking about puppies. Am I in a twilight state? And yeah, your brain is very much resemble a twilight state when that happens. You're just kind of in that like zone. Okay. So that's kind of the intro to things. Tomorrow we're going to start talking about the sleep cycle. We're going to talk about REM sleep and NREM sleep. And then we're going to go into the whole stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 thing. Talk a little bit about alpha waves and delta waves and all those nice kinds of things. If you have any questions about any of this, please let me know. Remember, sleeping and dreaming assignment due tomorrow, dream project due next Wednesday. If you want to talk about the current state of the world or anything like that, please reach out. I miss you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.